it's time for the news. So here is the news from March 2019, and I quote The Guardian: Birmingham school stops LGBT lessons after parental protests. Now, all of my news stories obviously make me angry, which compels me to then make these videos and talk about these situations. However, I must say that this one has particularly enraged me to like a new level. If I was here, I'm now off the scale, gone. So to break the story down for you, this primary school was going to teach children about homosexual relationships as part of a wider programme to challenge homophobia. Now, that's not to say that they were having full-blown sex education at the age of 5 or goodness knows what. It was merely incorporating same-sex relationships into wider discussions and education about respect, about family structures, about love and commitment. So one would assume at some stage, or even now, there's students in that school who will have same-sex parents or will obviously grow up to be gay themselves one day. So parents were not happy about this inclusion of LGBT education. They were staging weekly protests, and as of recently, 600 Muslim children were actually withdrawn from the school out of this wider protest. So that's quite a staggering amount. So the school has now had to say they're going to kind of put a pause on these LGBT lessons until later in the year, and it will be revisited. But as of this moment in time, the parents have kind of won, in inverted commas, because the school have had to stop it to stop all the pandemonium surrounding it. So some of the protesters have been quoted in this article. At one protest, they held signs that read, "Say no to promoting of homosexuality and LGBT ways of life to our children. Stop exploiting children's innocence, and education, not indoctrination." Oh, the irony. One parent said, "We're not a bunch of homophobic mothers. We just feel that some of these lessons are inappropriate. Some of the themes being discussed are very adult and complex, and the children are getting confused." I'm sure they are. And then in wider discussions, we've got the school's minister, Nick Gibb, who said it's important for schools to take the religious beliefs of their pupils into account. So where do I stand on this? Now, the first point I made in my brainstorm was likely over-exaggerated. Now, I know what it's like to be part of a protest, for things to kind of spiral out of control, and before you know it, the media's got their hands on kind of one random person, or one kind of person that's not even associated with the group. That person says something ridiculous, and then the media attributes that to all the protesters. So I thought, hold the fort here. Okay, one parent might have said this, one parent might have said that, but is this really collectively what everyone thinks? Maybe we need to step back a bit. However, I then went on to find YouTube videos of the protest, so I could see actually what a lot of the parents were saying, the kind of discourse that was being prescribed there, and I was blown away and I fell off the chair. I was really, really shocked. So I'm going to show you some of those clips now. I'm probably going to get arrested by the YouTube police, but good news, I don't make any money on my videos, so hopefully I'll get away with it. So take a look at what the protesters are saying.
Silence! No to not 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 silence!
It's not for the appropriate for the reception kids.
It's about promoting homosexuality. They should learn about it at an older age, not right now, because they can easily get influenced.
They teach kids to stay with boys, and that's not a good thing.
It's opposite to our religion. We don't like it.
Equality Act obviously clearly says you can't discriminate against religion and whatnot, and that's what they're doing. It's 99% Muslim. It's not about being Muslim. The Jewish community, the other communities, the Christian communities, they all have issues around the way things are being done.
Concerned, no outsiders. We said all parents are on board with it, but the reality is no parents are on board with it.
How old's your child?
10.
And they're coming home, and what they're saying to you?
They're confused about homosexuality. They're coming. We have nothing against Mr. Moffat. We're as British as they come. You know, we respect the British values and everything. But the problem is he's not respecting our ethos as a community, as you know, as one. They say we work with the parents, we listen to the parents, but this is not what they're doing.
Do you think it's right to promote LGBT in the classroom?
I just don't see the point. Why we don't send our children to school to learn about LGBT? We send them to school to learn about maths, science, and English.
Christians, okay, but nevertheless. Yay! But hey, This is there's a big topic here, and it's about protecting your children. The message is to stand firm, okay, and to stand firm as parents against it, not just in this school, but in the schools all over the UK where this same stuff is happening. And make no mistake, this isn't something about it might not be appropriate at the age of 4 or 5, but it might be appropriate in secondary school. Homosexual propaganda is not appropriate anywhere at any time. It's about pushing propaganda onto your children. And before you know where you are, your son's coming home saying, oh, I'm actually a girl, or your daughter's coming home saying, oh, I'm really a boy. And you know, and it's just because the school, the authority figures in the school have put that stuff onto the children, and the children start to think that's the truth. But it is not the truth. And I'm saying to you, I'm saying to you now that your children will not be safe so long as that Moffat is in this school.
Pretty shocking stuff. I really enjoyed the white Christian guy kind of stood in the middle of all this drama, pretending that he was at one with the Muslim Brotherhood. I look forward to the continuation of these protests. So this wasn't a protest about, we don't want sex education for our kids, they're too young at any level. It wasn't really about that. It seemed to be, this is against our religion, this is against our culture. You had complete dimwits like this white man saying that, children are going to come home from school and say, oh, actually, I've decided that I'm the opposite gender, and actually, I think maybe I'm gay, maybe I should give it a twirl, The ignorance and the lack of understanding and compassion, it is just infuriating. And I think perhaps what infuriates me the most is these false prophets, okay? To put it bluntly, we are Muslims, we are Christian, we are religious people. Religion should always mean love thy neighbour, compassion, forgiveness, togetherness. And if you don't understand and you don't get on with someone, you find a peaceful way through it. It should never mean segregation, alienation, pushing people aside, superiority over another group. That's not religion. So you're not Muslim, you're not Catholic or Christian or whatever you are, you're not religious, you are false prophets. And what really scares me of all those little kids going to school, statistically, a fair few of them will be gay. No child has a sexuality, but when they grow up, a few of them will be gay. And to think that they are living in these households or in this environment where people are screaming, saying that homosexuality is, disgusting, it shouldn't be thrust upon children, it's kind of almost promoted as some perverse way of lifestyle. How are those kids, those group of gay kids, when they grow up, how are they going to cope? Are they going to take their own life? Are they going to run away from home? Are they going to live a lie? Those are the kind of options open for them. So well done, parents. Which one's your daughter going to pick? Which one's your son going to pick? Now, I was having a discussion with my partner about something similar to this, actually, a few weeks ago. We were talking about religious education in school. I went to a religious school, so that was always going to be part of my education. She did not. And she said, if we had a child, I wouldn't want them being taught about religion in school. And I actually said, I disagree with you, because no matter how much you can, be an atheist, not believe in religion, hate religion, be undecided on it, or think your religion is superior to another's, religion exists. It's a very large part of society and the world. It's a very large part of where I live. I live in an incredibly multicultural part of the UK. Religion is a very big part of life for many families here. So, of course, when my kid goes to school, it needs to know what religion is. It needs to know what the different religions are, it needs to understand them, it needs to build up, hopefully, a degree of respect, but also kind of questioning it. The child needs to learn, okay, what are these different religions? Actually, maybe I can question it, or maybe I really relate to it, and maybe my child will grow up to be Catholic or Muslim or Jewish or whatever it decides that it actually relates to. Or maybe it will grow up and say, do you know what? I know all this about these different religions, and it's been very interesting, but actually, I reject them all. And that's fine. But of course my child should learn about religion, and I would want it to learn about religion. Just because I'm gay, and pretty much all or most of the holy scriptures say that I should be, assassinated and goodness knows what, doesn't mean to say that I should shield my child from that. My child needs to know that. It needs to be taught it. It needs to understand it. The same way that these children need to understand LGBT issues. Because guess what? You live in a society where there's a load of gay, bisexual and transgender people. So you cannot close your blinds, shut your door and hope that we're going to disappear, because we're not. We're here. We've always been here and we will continue to be here. These parents say they're not homophobic, but if they deem LGBT education inappropriate, what are they? What's the word for that? Muslim, Christian, homophobic? Because let me tell you, I have Christian and Muslim friends and family who support me and my partner. I have Christian and Muslim friends who are gay or bisexual or transgender themselves, and blimey, is that a rocky road to walk, but they still walk it. These children need to understand as they're growing up throughout their lifetime that gay people exist, that they are a normal and healthy part of society just like heterosexual people are. There are no role models out there. Yes, things have got a bit better over recent years, but when I go to my students and I say, name me 5 female, gay, well-known figures in British society, I want 5 well-known, gay, not bisexual, not trisexual, not, oh, they kissed a girl and it was in a video, gay, female, well-known figures. Name me 5. They never can. A few might be lucky if they get to 3. People can't, because they don't exist. They're not there. They're not visible. So what am I meant to do when I'm growing up and I can't see anybody that looks like me, anybody that thinks like me? I can't relate to anybody. And then I've got a load of people outside my school saying stop LGBT education with their banners screaming. What kind of identity am I then going to construct for myself? It's not going to be a healthy one, is it? And if I had a child and it was at that school and all this was going on, how's that child going to feel coming home to me and my partner? How are we going to feel as parents? Completely isolated, completely segregated. We'd probably have to withdraw our child from the school and hope that it would get into another one, because I don't see how that is a healthy environment to put a child into. Education is the key to making things better. If I'd had LGBT education when I was at school, it would have changed so much for me. If someone at some point could have just sat down with me when I was 16 or 17 and said, okay, this is what it means, to be gay. Here's some role models. Here's some helplines. Remember, it doesn't matter. You can still do this. You can still do that. You can still go on with your life. People are here to listen and support you. You can get married. You can do... It would have made such a significant impact and saved me years of depression and misery. So why would anyone want to block that? For the children who are straight, it will not make them gay when they grow up. They will be just as straight as they were ever destined to be. What it will do is hopefully when they interact with gay people at school, at university, in the workplace, they will be compassionate and understanding, and they won't be shocked because they'll be like, that's fine, of course there's gay people in society. If they've been sheltered and hidden from them and told that they're evil and insignificant people, how are they going to react with them in the workplace then? And I find it really tough because I think I spend a lot of energy in my life when I meet new people and we form a bond and they like me and they relate to me, and then suddenly they're hit with this dilemma because they find out I'm gay, and that goes against their belief or their religion or their culture, and they can't quite figure out how to navigate it because they like me, they relate to me, I may have helped them and supported them, but apparently I'm this sea of evil that they've been told about. And I like that because it really does create a moral dilemma, and hopefully most of the time they figure out a way to navigate it whereby they still like me and they will still talk to me. Not that it should even be up for debate. So I applaud this Andrew Moffat, who is the deputy principal of the school, who is doing amazing things, and I would just like to say that from afar, I take my hat off to you. What a brave, courageous man you are to try and soldier forth with this, to navigate a way through this, and to create a society and a school environment that really is best for everyone, irrelevant of religion or sexuality. The fact that you're trying to create a level playing field that incorporates everybody's identity and culture is fantastic. So well done. I bow down to you, sir. So that's it. Please write your comments below. I'm sure another news story will crop up soon that will enrage me, and I will see you whenever that happens. Thank you. Peace.